Let's take a look at some of the Scrin strategies. The Scrin make special use of their aircraft early in the game, and we'll show you some of that, but they also have a few special tricks that you might not know. We'll see these in the Corruptors and the Devourers particularly, and we'll also examine their special relationship with Tiberium. The Buzzers are the Scrin's first anti-infantry unit that they get in their tech tree. So they're a special kind of infantry that is basically a flying cloud of razor blades that's really good against other infantry. One of the things they can do, though, is adhere to other Scrin units, specifically vehicles. So if you have something like a Devourer, which is an anti-vehicle tank, you can cover it with these Scrin Buzzers, which will allow it to, whenever it encounters other infantry, to just fly out and slice it up. So when you see these Devourers rolling around, you'll be able to see the Scrin buzzing around them, and then you won't even have to worry about it. They'll automatically defend the tanks that they're attached to. At any time, of course, you can tell them to go back on their own, and you can sort of uncombine them. The other thing about the Buzzers are really cheap. So you can deploy a whole bunch of them at once. They build really quickly, they're not very expensive, so you can just completely spam the battlefield with them. And so what happens is, especially in urban areas, when there's a lot of infantry, you can totally chop up the opposing infantry at a very good price, and then you can also use them to clear out enemy garrison buildings. They're the first unit in the game, as far as the tech tree goes, so the first unit you can get that can clear out garrison buildings, which makes them extremely dangerous on urban maps. And again, for the price, you can't beat it. The assimilator is the Scrin equivalent of the engineer. The only difference is that when it's not moving, it can stealth. This is especially important in early game. What'll happen is, a lot of players will rush for the same tech buildings. One thing you can do with the assimilators is you can hide them just outside of a tech building. When the opponent's engineer enters it, you can then immediately enter it thereafter. He might not even notice that you've taken it.
Building captured.
The Scrin Corruptors are vehicles that are especially adept, they're sort of crawling, walking vehicles that are especially adept at fighting enemy infantry. But the Corruptors have another ability that you might not know about. Once a battle is over and you have a few remaining tanks and some injured Scrin forces, you can turn the Corruptors on them by using a force fire on your own units and cover them in Tiberium. This will allow these units to heal and get your force back up to 100% fighting strength in no time. You don't need to deploy Corruptors in force, but it's a good idea to have one following up any armor or infantry attack that you send out, especially in the middle of the battlefield when you have a chance to recover. Scrin forces make particular use of aircraft, or spacecraft if you prefer. One thing that you can do is you can build up their aircraft production structure, the gravity stabilizer, and very early, before you even build a war factory, or in their case a warp sphere. What you want to do is build up 4 Storm Riders. This is the only aircraft in the game, or one of the only ones, that doesn't have to return to base for ammunition, which means you can send him out and attack the opponent until he defends himself. If you send them out early enough, the opponent won't have much in the way of anti-air defenses. You can attack his harvester and disrupt his economy early. While you're doing this, he'll have to start to adjust his strategy with heavy anti-air defense to ward off your Storm Riders, because they don't have to go home for ammo. Once his attention is caught on your Storm Riders, you can start building up a warp sphere and pumping out heavier tanks like Devourers or even eventually tripods. Leave your Storm Riders out as long as you can and only call them home once he has sufficient anti-aircraft. Call them home, give them a chance to repair, and then you'll be able to take these Devourers that you've built and send them out to attack his base, which is now covered in anti-aircraft defenses, but probably not anti-vehicle defenses.
Enemy units sighted. Enemy base sighted.
Once your Storm Riders are healed up, of course, you can send them back in to aid the attack. Another advantage of having the gravity stabilizer is that now that you've got your tank attack going, you can start to tech up and build Devastators and planetary assault carriers and really do some damage. Scrin Devourer tank is not called that by coincidence. It does actually have the ability to devour Tiberium and charge its main weapon. So normally it fires a purple armor-piercing laser, but if you set it on a Tiberium field and allow it to suck up Tiberium and charge the gun, it will now fire a heavier green laser, which will do significantly more damage to vehicles and do a lot more damage to structures as well. Remember, it's not good against infantry generally, so you still need to back it up with something like buzzers, but once it comes to a head-to-head armor battle, you'll be in a real advantage. So as you can see, the Scrin can make really good use of aircraft, but remember, when they use Tiberium to charge up their units or to heal their own units, the combinations can be really staggering.